Welcome to Campus Insiders Oregon. I'm Jill Savage. Reports are that current Oregon linebackers coach Don Pellum will replace Nick Aliotti as the team's defensive coordinator. If you look at Don's bio, he's been at Oregon off and on for 23 years. He was a Duck himself, playing linebacker here at the university from 1981 to 1984. He is the linebackers coach, but he's also been a defensive line coach and a defensive backs coach, and he was also the recruiting coordinator for the Ducks. I'm now joined with Justin Myers. And Justin, what's your initial reaction when you hear that Don Pellum will be the next defensive coordinator?
It's an interesting hire from two perspectives. One, from an Oregon perspective, not at all surprising. They've been promoting from within since this program has begun being competitive in the Pac-12 and across the nation. But from a top 10 perspective, because this is still a top 10 program, it's quite surprising. I don't think you would see another top 10 program across the country make their linebackers coach a defensive coordinator. But one thing to remember, Nick Aliotti retired. He wasn't fired. This isn't a team looking for a change on the defense, and it adds to that continuity that they talk about all the time.
Justin, what's the negative from hiring from within?
Well, a couple of things. One is you don't get a different perspective. I mean, Don Pellum, for the most part, has been an Oregon guy, and you get a lot of ideas from other programs and different ways to do things, so you don't get that fresh perspective. Also, I think there's always caution when you hire a long-time assistant coach. You have to wonder why no one else was looking to hire Don Pellum as a defensive coordinator. I don't think another top 10 team across the country would be hiring from within as much as Oregon does. When you see Alabama recently went outside of the program to hire Lane Kiffin, Michigan hired a new offensive coordinator. So I think there's always caution there when you hire a long-time assistant coach, and you wonder why nobody else had picked this guy up before.
I want to go back to something that you talked about, and that is Oregon promoting from within. Now, if you look back at the history, they like to do that. It's a model that has worked well for them. But the biggest leap that Oregon has made is actually with an outside hire. When they brought in Chip Kelly, they broke the mold of the Oregon way. They've since gone back to that. Do you think this is a good or bad thing for Oregon?
Well, only time's going to tell. But remember, when Chip Kelly was brought in, Oregon was looking to make a change at offensive coordinator. It wasn't like someone retired and they just wanted to continue what was working. They needed a change. Oregon's defense still very competitive this year. I know they've had some problems stopping the run, but I don't think Mark Helfrich is looking for a drastic change on the defensive side of the ball. They want continuity. They want a defense that knows how to work with this fast-paced offense. I think Don Pellum gives them that.
If you look at the numbers that Oregon's defense put up this year, they had 165 yards allowed each game. That was 61st in the country. Their pass defense, though, was great, ranking up at 20th in the country. So you combine all of that, Oregon had the 35th best defense in the country. So Duck fans might have thought that it was a little down this year, but when you look at the numbers after the season, it was pretty good.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes to some of the issues with the offense, especially in the second half of the season. That's what's unique about Oregon, is the offense and the defense has to work within one another's system. So promoting from within a guy that knows Oregon's offensive system as opposed to an outside hire could be beneficial to Oregon. And with those numbers, like you mentioned, as well as the offense plays, the defense goes along with it.
We'll have much more on Don Pellum as the Ducks defensive coordinator right here on Campus Insiders Oregon.